I want to one-trick a champion, but they're in the meta right now. Their pick and bam rate is too high. What do I do? Hey guys, in today's profile review, I'm going to be breaking down exactly what junglers need to do when the champion they want to learn or they one-trick is currently in the meta and they have a really high pick/bam rate. For this example, we're actually looking at Jax, which has one of the highest pick and ban rates in the game at the moment. Not because of his jungle gameplay, but because of his top gameplay. So what we're going to be doing, breaking down the next 10 minutes through a profile review, is exactly what a player needs to do when their main or their one trick is getting banned or picked a lot. How to build a backup champion and where to focus on in terms of improvement. Now, before we get into that profile review, if you're interested in getting your own profile reviewed for free, please check out the link in the YouTube description below, as well as if you're interested in the paid coaching solution I talk about towards the end of this video. Check out the link in the description below as well to book your free call with me, where I can walk you through exactly what a personalized coaching solution would look like for you, your goals, your champion pool, and your needs. Let's get into the profile review. Currently, you are Silver 3 with the goal of getting to Gold 4, and you are a jungle main on the EU West server. So you're looking to get from about the top 47% of players to roughly the top 30%. So very achievable, particularly in one season. But what do you exactly need to go or do to get there? I'm going to be talking about that in the next 10 minutes. Now, I'm looking at the biggest issue that's currently holding you back, and you've said learning a new role with a new to me champ, Jax. And to be honest, I don't think Jax is your biggest issue. I mean, the fact that you've got a 64% win rate on him, I think learning the champion is definitely something you need to do and getting mastery on them. But the fact that over your first 25 games on this champion and you're new to the role and you're new to the champion, you should be really happy with your results. And I wouldn't actually be worrying too much about your Jax. I'd be worrying about other things. And I'm going to go into what those other things are. So the first one I want to talk about is your champion pool. So your Jax and your Kayn. Your second one is champ mastery. So what should you be doing? Should you be one-tricking? Should you be two-tricking? Should you be learning a variety of junglers? What should you be doing in that regard? And then the third one is your laning phase. Getting your laning phase as solid as possible. And yes, junglers have a laning phase. It's all to do with your laners, and that's why I call it laning phase, or you can think of it like the first 15 minutes of the game. Cool. So the first one, champ pool. So to be honest, I don't think you have any really big issues that you need to work on Jax. Like, are you playing Jax perfectly? No. But when we're Silver 3 and we have a 64% win rate on a champion, we don't need to be worrying about that champion itself. All we need to be doing is making sure we're just playing good, consistent League of Legends, and you're learning naturally just through playing volume of games. Now, the problem that you have is that Jax right now is a very popular ban/pick, and he could be getting nerfed. Now, when I say he's getting nerfed, I don't think that means you have to stop playing him. But you just got to understand that right now he's at like 12.7% pick rate, 26% bam rate. So he's very popular. Like 1 in 3 games where you're not going to get him. So you basically need a solid backup champion. And to be honest, this I think is one of the biggest issues that is going to affect you and your ability to go from silver to gold this season, is what is your backup champion until Jax's win rate, ban rate, and play rate drop down so that you can actually play the champion, ideally 80 to 100% of your games, because that's what you want to be doing when you're one-tricking and learning a new champion, is playing them as much as humanly possible. So, what do we do with this issue? So currently you've got Kayn as your backup champion, and to be honest, any champion in League of Legends you can climb to gold with, but some champions are going to be harder than others, and some people aren't going to be able to learn or do as well on certain champions as other people. So for example, Karasmai is like the most famous one-trick Kayn player known to man. You've probably watched his videos if you're playing Kayn. He's very good at Kayn, and he one-tricks, and he can play Kayn at a challenger, grandmaster level relatively consistently. However, when you're new to the role, Kayn could be technically one of the hardest champions to learn jungle on, because he doesn't really follow the same rules as a jungler. His clearing and his approach to ganking is very unique, and it's just not a good champion to learn fundamentals of good jungling on. So, am I saying to not play Jax? Not necessarily. What I would rather you do is have an honest reflection and go, sorry, Kayn. What I want you to do is have an honest reflection on, can you see yourself getting your Kayn to a standard where you're winning at least 55% of your games on it? If you think that's realistic, like if you think these first 10 games have just been a bit unlucky and you can increase your win rate by 5%, cool, let's give it a go. But to be honest, there are much easier junglers to climb with. So if you're like, well, Dylan, I just want to get to fucking gold in the quickest amount of time possible. I don't care what my second champion is. All I know is I want to play Jax and then I need a second champion. What I would do is I'd go to a site like u.gg and just look at these champions and pick a couple that take your interest. 2, 3, 4 of them. See what you like about them. Watch, maybe a quick video on them if you don't know how to play them or you don't know what they do. And then jump into a normal game, a ranked flex game, or use a second account and play them and get a feel for them. Because what I think a really key action you need to do in order to get to gold this season is to find a second jungler that isn't Kayn. Get a backup jungler that has much more consistent, easier, and better gameplay than Kayn. Because yes, you can climb to gold on Kayn, but you could probably climb a lot easier on a champion like a Mumu, where it's not as technical, you don't have to try as hard, you don't have to sweat as much. But if the way you want to play League of Legends is Kayn, like if that is literally how you want to play League of Legends, which I don't think it is, because if you're maining Jax has a very simple, straightforward play style, and Kayn is almost a polar opposite. So there's not too much logic in why you're having Kayn as your backup, particularly because he's just so complex. And maybe that's the reason, you like a simple champion, but then you like to play something a bit more complex. Well, then maybe pick a more complex champion that is a higher win rate, such as Elise is a slightly complex champion as she has 2 forms. Something like Wukong or Echo are even a little bit more complex due to their ults and their clones. Even like Zac, where he uses health rather than mana, could be a good one. But really, just Kayn's not the best for your backup. So long story short, figure out what a second jungler could be and start just getting a feel for it and seeing if you like it. And then if it is, start to practice it on a second account or in flex queue or in normal games. Try and get like 20 to 30 games. Try and get like a 55% win rate on them. If you enjoy them, if you can get a 55% win rate on them over 20 games, bring them over to your main account and play. So honestly, I would actually do that before playing any more ranked. I would literally try and solidify your second champion pick. Now, if it is Kayn, you can play Kayn and he can be your second champion and you can climb to gold with your champion pool of Jax and Kayn. But it's most likely just going to take longer, it's going to be slower, and it could be more frustrating. And it's also going to affect your MMR, because the more games and the longer it takes for you to climb from silver to gold, you're basically telling the system that you don't really deserve to be much higher than gold, or whatever rank you get up to. So generally, I like to recommend players try to climb to their goal rank in the shortest amount of time possible. That's why I give the best strategies to do that. And then it's up to them on how serious they want to take that, how quickly they want to climb, and, make that kind of sacrifice of, well, I want to have a bit more fun, or I want to play these certain champions. And then as long as they understand that that could result in a slower climb, then that's all good. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is your laning phase, because right now, your Jax laning phase is really good. Plus 400 is really good. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not liking your Kayn, is even though you've got a 50% win rate on him, you're averaging like 2 kills behind at 15 minutes. Like literally, you're dying. What these stats suggest is you're basically giving away for whatever reason or losing for whatever reason almost like over 2 kills worth of gold. And it's just one of the reasons why I don't think you should be playing Kayn. Like honestly, Kayn is a hard jungler and it's hard to get gold differences positively, particularly as a new player to jungle, particularly as a new player to Kayn. It's very hard to get consistent gold leads in the first 15 minutes of the game because he's a bit of a scaling champion and pre-form is a little bit weak and a little bit nuanced, which is an issue for a lot of players. So coming back to that third point, the second point is we need to really be looking at that second champion. Now, If you're wanting to, I guess, learn jungle faster, if you're wanting to accelerate your learning, whether it's with Kane, whether it's with Jax, or whether it's, you're taking my advice and you want to learn a new champion, what I would recommend is a monthly coaching plan. And basically what that would involve is monthly goal setting, monthly focus areas, and a monthly game review where we go through your gameplay, we break down the biggest things holding you back on going from silver 3 to gold 4. And each month we do the exact same process, breaking down the biggest issues that are holding you back, and one by one we turn you into a gold player. So if you're interested in that, Josh, I would highly recommend, once you've watched this, message me and you can book a free call with me to talk more about that solution, what it would look like for you, and the personalization it would involve. That is a paid coaching service, but if you are interested in really accelerating your jungle gameplay, getting better at the game, and climbing to gold in the fastest way possible, that is the route I would recommend. Anyway, you got a lot of potential here. Your Jax is really good. The only issue is he's got a high pick bam rate, so don't worry too much about improving on your Jax. Focus much more on what you're going to do when Jax is picked/banned. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the profile review, and once you've watched this, Josh, please reach out to me. Cheers, good luck in the Rift, and I'll talk to you soon.